Hi, welcome to the channel. My name's Mr Ade and I've got a really exciting game opening for you. Today I finally got hold of a copy of Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, and this is the 5th edition. This game dates back to the 1990s. It was my college default game. So it was called Vampire back then, or Jihad. And it was created by Richard Garfield as well, the creator of Magic the Gathering. If you're a fan of Magic the Gathering, then you should like this game. If you're not a fan, you still might like this game because it does things slightly differently to most collectible card games. So this card game, it's more, so it's not 1 versus 1, it's a sort of 3 to up to 5 versus game. In the game, you play a Methalusa, which is a really old vampire, and the idea is you've got your clan. So I'll talk about clans and stuff in a second, and then you basically will use other vampires to try and manipulate the world to become the most dominant. So yeah, this is the 5th edition. It is by, it says it's Garfield. Here we go, Black Chantry, which I think are UK based. So it's based in the World of Darkness, 5th edition. So let's get this open, and then we'll see what's in the box. So let's just go over to the back then. So here we go. You're an ancient vampire, a Methalusa. For thousands of years, you have lurked in the shadows of human society, manipulating and scheming. Mortals and younger vampires are your pawns. You hunger for power. Your hunger for power knows no bonds. You use whatever means possible for triumph. You must increase your influence and destroy the rival ancient vampires one by one before they consume you. Will you choose subtle machinations, stoic resilience, or frontal assault? So yeah, this game, you can do it in combat way, you can go down the manipulation way. So each of the vampires, so the clans have their own powers or disciplines in this game, and each discipline will be represented by the cards and different card powers. So in this game, you've got the rulebook, 5 decks of cards, which are 5 different clans. Pull counters, so 180 pull counters, which is your blood tokens, an edge token, 5 help sheets, and 5 seating orders. So it does say 4 to 5 players. You can play it 3. I wouldn't play this 1 versus 1. So the rule book I have read. Okay, so I've read through the rule book. It's available online. You can download it. So it's a nice thick rule book. It's 50 odd pages, so that might intimidate you to start with, but there's a great key reference on the back of the cards which is relevant to all the, so these are the disciplines, so these are your powers. So you've got 2 different levels of powers on the card as well. So there's a basic power and the advanced power, depends on the power of the vampire. Different cards, and then there's other things. And then you've got, say, the 5 different clans within this box set. So you've got the Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tremere, and Ventru. I'll explain a little bit about those as we get to them. So if that's not good enough, I have got Shimisi decks, because I got a little bit carried away. The Gangrel, my personal favourite clan. Banu Hakim, which is, they used to be called the Assamites when I was younger. And then we've got quite a few people's favourite here, the Brujar. Not going to go through these today. I will do separate openings and unboxings for all of these. So let's just stick on the rule book for now, just for a second. So it then goes through, you know, who created the 5th edition. You've got the instructions. You've got pop-out sections here, which tell you about deck construction. So the deck consists of 2 different types of cards. So you've got your crypt cards, which basically are vampires. So these are your vampires that you set out to war, to manipulate, to take over places. And then you've got your library, which is all your powers, your attacks, your disciplines, locations, votes, which is by far the best part of the game. And then each card is made up. So you've got disciplines down here where you can play, some subtext, the name, the clan that they're in. The clan they're in, and whether they are So you've got an Anarch, you've got the Camarilla, or you've got Sabbat. So the Vampire Society is divided into 3 different, let's sort of say, well, not like cults, but so the Camarilla is the main Vampire Society. So they use what's called the Masquerade, and the Masquerade is what they use to hide from human society, so humans don't know they exist, so they can carry on manipulating them. You've then got the Sabbat, which basically are opposite to the Camarilla, and these are sort of younger, more rebellious vampires. And then you've got the Anarchs, which are the people that have broken away from the Camarilla. And depending on which set that they are with will determine which cards you can play within, within your deck itself. So say you sort of sit around the table, you've got your blood tokens in the middle. Each player will start with 30 blood tokens, which is, if you think about life or life counters. You will then spend your blood tokens to activate your vampires or special powers, to help blood bonds or blood hunts or votes. And then as soon as you go out, you run out, you're out of the game. There is also victory points in this game, so you can actually go out very early but still win the game because you've got more victory points than anyone else. Okay, so that's your rulebook, so it's quite comprehensive. When I played this, the rulebook used to come in a box. So with your box of cards used to come the rulebook. And I'm glad they've made it larger. Oh, there are advanced rules as well. So there's a basic game you can play, and then an advanced rule, and then a whole thing on your vampire sex, etc. And then a load of keywords at the back, which is really handy. So we've got 5 different clans in the base set. So we have got the Malkavian. These are your sort of crazy vampires. They've gone slightly mad. They've got so they use the ability obfuscate, which allows them to hide. It's more of a stealth sort of discipline. Dominate to control people. And then we've got Nosferatu, which is your classic, if you think back to the sort of 1930s film, Nosferatu, it might be 1960s. So these are your vampires that have been cursed, and they are sort of very unattractive, if that makes sense. So they, again, use sort of stealth, the disciplines to sort of hide from the humans and vampire society. And they have animalism, which allows them to control animals, and potence, which makes them incredibly strong. Ventru, these are the leaders of Vampire Society. Well, they see themselves as the leaders, let's say, of the Vampire Society. They will use disciplines like presence and dominate, and then they get fortitude, which makes them really tough. So the ability to take a lot of damage and outlast the opponent. Do the Tremere last. Toreadors. So you can see lead singer of Kiss. Well, not quite, but you get the point. So these are more of your classic arty sort of vampires. Again, they use, I can't remember their disciplines off the top of my head, but these are going to use disciplines to help trick your opponents. It'll tell me in here. I think, if I remember, they are dominate or specs, which is the ability to read people very well. And then finally, we have got Tremere, which are the mages of the Vampire Society. So they were created in the 1400s. Basically a bunch of mages, long story short, killed a vampire and then created themselves, become a vampire. It's like the first vampire from the Tremere, and they use blood sorcery and blood magic. Okay, these must be then. Okay, these are, don't need that. Okay, strategy guide for each of the clans. Okay, gives you a breakdown. Wait for the, I need to move that. Gives you a breakdown of all the cards. There we go, it's caught up. So it gives you a breakdown of the crypt, so these are the vampires you get to play, and all the cards in the deck. Gives you an idea of how to play the deck. And then your turn sequences, what you should be doing, course of actions, the actions you can take, and how combat works. And it's one of those, so each So Tremere, Ventru, Malkavian, Nosferatu and Toreador. And then finally, blood tokens. And the edge counter, which is this here. So as I said, big part of this game is votes to get through new rules, to block rules, to change rules. So as the game goes on, someone will play a card that basically says that they might want to become the prince, which is it's a position of authority within a city. And then the other players will either vote that rule in or vote against it. And depending on how many vampires you've got and the vampires of different ranks, you'll then be able to maybe get the rules through or not. But all the while, you'll then be talking to other players on the table, trying to convince them that this is the reason, you know, if you go alongside this, you make him a prince, I won't attack you for 3 rounds. And, you know, you can create your own sort of bonds and rules and ideas of things that you should do with other players. And the edge, what the edge does is it gives you an additional vote within that. So it starts in the game in the middle of the table, and then someone will get it, and then they will have an edge and a final so additional vote within the voting, just trying to get things through. So yeah, it's, say there are there's combats in here, voting manipulation, you can take over other people's vampires. It's really, really good game. It's a steep learning curve, which is why I'm really pleased that they have included these strategy guides, because I think they're really going to help new players coming in. I am running this through Mr Jeff, and Mr Jeff have agreed to play it, and we've got 2 other friends up in Birmingham that have agreed to play. So we've got 5 sets here. So I think I was on about playing with Brujar, sorry, Mr Jeff D was on about playing with Brujar, and I wanted to play with the Gangrel. I think what might make sense is if we actually just start with the starter set. Hey, whoever thought that was a great idea. So we do the starter set, and then it will just give us what we should be doing, how to play these characters. So yeah, that's it. That's my unboxing of Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. I will do card openings for the clans, so we can actually have a look at the cards, but I'll do them all as separate videos. So say we've got the other clans to look at, and I've got the joyous now of popping these out. Everyone actually, you know, if you've been into board games, one of the most fun things is actually they haven't included a baggie. That's kind of annoying, because popping these out is good. Actually, I probably should mention how good the stock is. This is pretty thick. Not as good as when I used to, because in the old days, they used to come with actual tokens, and they were sort of like little plastic blood counters. And I think, if I remember rightly, if you played this at conventions, you could actually pick up additional ones and special ones. But yeah, that's it. So it's not a review, it's just an unboxing, so you can see what you get within the Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. So we will be playing this. We'll have a video on it, and we'll talk about our experience of the game, and hopefully everyone else on the channel and the new people coming in will enjoy it, because then I can play more and bring in some of the other things I want to be playing. Oh, there's also these, which is a New Blood deck, which I've ordered all of these as well. So, because these are a little bit more complicated with a harder learning curve, the New Blood cards it's a smaller deck, as you can see, but it's an easier deck. It's different cards, but it should show off the clan, just to give you a basic idea of what the clan is, how the clan works, and the sort of style of the way that it's played. So I've ordered those, so I'll also go through the New Blood decks as well as the full decks, so we can kind of see. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you like what we're building here, please do subscribe to the channel. My name's Mr Ade, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.